Welcome back to the Jason Show. Jason's on vacation for a little bit. Kendall and Shane filling in, and good thing I'm here because the next lovely lady I happen to know very well. Summer is a great season to read a good book, and if you're looking for a new book to get lost in, well, we're helping you out today. You all love the recommendations my mom offered a few months ago, so she's back on the show. My mom, Sid Mark. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Kendall. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. It's so weird to see you on TV and see your living room. I'm like, hi, Mom. Mom's living room behind you.
I know. There's a lot of stuff on those shelves back there if you get bored with our discussion.
Just look through the shelves. So before we get into your books, Mom, I just want to tell people at home, if you missed last time, we talked about a couple of things that we like to read, because my mom actually works for a local library, specifically with children. So there's going to be a teenage book she recommends. So this is not just me and my mom going, we like to read. She actually knows what she's talking about. So the first book, everything that you're talking about today sort of has a theme, right?
Yes, correct. Somehow we managed to end up with the same theme, even though we didn't really talk about it prior to this event. You read a book that's a nonfiction, but my books are all called historical fiction. So same amount of, copious amount of research, multi-generational books, strong female protagonists, inspirational.
Yes.
Yes.
We love those. And we both love these kind of books. So let's get started with the first one. This one actually, of course, has a woman in the title. The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Richardson. What's this about?
Well, this is a story of our protagonist. Her name is Pussy Mary. She is a member of an actual society. It was called the Packhorse Librarian Project, which was started by Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the Depression. This librarian project was started to help employ women, of course, but also Eleanor Roosevelt was very much she pushed for education and reading materials, and she wanted those reading materials to be able to be taken out into some of the most remote areas of the country, one of which was, of course, the Appalachian Mountains. Another twist to this book would be the fact that our heroine happens to be the last in a line of rare blue-skinned Kentuckians. I don't know if you've ever heard of the blue-skinned people of Kentucky.
No.
But this was an actual, these people were blue, and it ended up being a rare blood disorder, but at the time, they were looked upon just like blacks or any other race that, the whites were not trusting of. And so she doesn't just battle the business of being a pack horse librarian, where she goes in these treacherous areas in the mountains, very dangerous. She also faces prejudice, illiteracy, suspicion because of her skin color, and a lot of danger. This is one of my favorite characters of all times. Really? I cannot get Pussy Mary's voice out of my head. She was so strong and so determined and so kind, despite all the things that were up against her. So, excellent book. Highly recommend it.
Okay. The next one is also called The Book, but The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. What's this one all about?
Yes. Lisa Wingate's a pretty well-known historical fiction writer. She does incredible research. So this was also inspired by true events, of course. There was an ad back post-Civil War days when there were a lot of free states trying to find their family members, because many people were broken apart, sold to different families. They had no idea how to find them. And the only way they could was to memorize every event when one of their family members was taken away, and then pass this down through word of mouth. And finally, someone came up with an idea of placing ads in this Christian newspaper that were seeking information about family members. And it was called the Lost Friends column. So a true story. It was a very good way for people to try to reach out and find their family members. This is a story that's based on the Gossets, which are Louisiana slave owners and their descendants. And they happen to be the thread that connects both of our protagonists. This is one of those books that has taken place both in 1875, which is where we meet Hanny Gossett. She's a freed slave searching for her family. And then we meet Benny in 1987, who's a new teacher in a very rough school district. So it's Benny's attempts to engage her students in a project that lead to unveiling Hanny's stories. This book was a little different for me Go
Okay,
ahead.
sorry, so it goes back and forth between two
Yes.
completely different like centuries essentially of women.
Different centuries, about 100 years apart, and it goes back and forth. So when it first began, this was one of the first books I've ever listened to on audio because I wanted to read it very badly and it wasn't available in book form.
Oh.
So I've got a play-away, which I just tucked in my pocket and took on my walks with me. And I think that this was a really good way to listen to this particular book because at the very beginning, there are numerous characters that are introduced for the first 2 to 4 chapters. And you can almost get a little lost in that. So you have to power your way through it. But by listening to this on audio with incredible reader, by the way, it was easier to keep the characters straight. And then as the book progressed, you just become immersed in their lives and all the craziness that happens to them. And again, just like Cussy Mary, so determined, so strong, so just very loving, wonderful people. And it's a fabulous book. So
just inspirational women.
Highly recommend it as well.
Yeah, I like the inspirational.
And it's all about women.
All right,
yes,
finally,
absolutely.
we've got about 30 seconds, Mom. You had one for
Okay, I'll do really fast.
Okay.
So this book is called Echo Mountain by Lauren Wolk, also written during the Depression. We've got a 12-year-old protagonist this time. Her family has lost everything in the Depression, and they have moved into the mountains of rural Maine. It's called Echo Mountain. She actually loves where she lives and found she's got this bizarre and wonderful connection with the nature around her. Unfortunately, her father has an accident. He slips into a coma. There's basically no help for him and no hope. And so she's determined to find a way to make him better, to find a cure for him. This leads her on this, up the mountain to find the hag, a woman who the people around are very suspicious of. They think she's a witch, but Ellie is she thinks that she possesses some healing powers. And so it's just this journey through the woods with this young woman who's incredibly resilient, just like all the other people in the books we just talked about. So amazing book. And you can read that book around 10 and up, I would say. But again, one of the day books that's fabulous for all ages.
Well, thank you, Mom, so much for joining us today. I loved the theme of all of the empowered women, especially going through hard times like a lot of people might be feeling right now. If you missed any of the book recommendations or want to share this with your friends, we'll be posting this entire segment on our Facebook and YouTube pages. You just have to search for Jason Show TV. We'll have all the titles right there.